Vinyl community, hi. It's been a few minutes, as they say, or a minute. It's been like 3 weeks since I did a video. It's been a busy September. I got a bunch happening, and time has just gotten away. I've been doing the stream, the Vinyl Community Social Club. I'm about to record an interview with Joel, Static ATX Records, in about 30 minutes, so I wanted to record this before that. This all stems from a comment that was happening during the Stunty live stream. Stuntrockconfusion, you know him, you love him. Certainly one of my favorite people. And, you know, he does the stream every Friday, 4:30 at my time. In Europe, it's like 10:30. And someone brought up, I think he was playing the Roller Skate Skinny record, which I don't have and I do enjoy. And someone brought up about just like the last great rock records. And I think Stunty was talking about either that one as the last great rock record or but essentially like the age of great rock records was over, which is his opinion. And so I decided to take that and sort of run with that a little bit. The last great rock record. Now, we haven't probably heard the last great rock record, hopefully not. A lot came from the 90s, but what I wanted to do was go post 90s and 2000 and later. And I'm going to show you some of my favorite records that I think of when I think of pure, straight, pure rock records. Okay, there's lots of things that are combos. These are the best rock records. I mean, these are my favorite in the last 25 years. 2000 and up. I'm not going to the 90s. And I want to do this relatively quick. I might spend a ton of time on these. So this is what we're listening to. And this is Welcome from 2006. The album Sirs. Who the hell is this? This is the most obscure record I'm going to show. And you'll know most of what I'm going to show. But this is some guys who were in bands like Unnatural Helpers and I think T-Vec. Was it T-Vec? Some more like relatively recent, over the last 15 years, indie punk bands. And this was released in 2006, but not reissued on vinyl until about 2012 on the Luxury Products Dragnet label. Mike Warren, Pete Brand, Kevin Willis, John Treneff, Joe Claxton. Just fantastic. Every song is great. It's a really short record. It's less than 30 minutes. You can probably get this for $10 to $15. And it's just, it follows in the Syd Barrett. I talked about, I forgot if I included this, but like, the Syd Barrett sort of influenced modern rock records or modern psychedelic pop rock, this is one of them. Excellent songs through and through. And I think this is one of the best rock records of the last 25 years. Welcome is the band Sirs. Never followed this up or anything. It's a one-off. Again, classics. The Rapture's first album, super hyped in 2003. They had me and or House of Jealous Lovers, which came out as a 12-inch and was getting all kinds of buzz and hype and play in and around New York and internationally. When I was down there going to shows in the city, I just remember the song House of Jealous Lovers being played ad nauseum, and the LP delivered on the hype, if you ask me. They never quite made anything this good again, and I do like their earlier EP on Sub Pop. But Echoes, this came out on DFA and I think, was it Columbia or EMI? I think I have the UK press here, sort of like upstreamed. I think it was EMI. This whole record is good. This is the prototype for like dance punk, indie, dance punk essentially. But every song on this is great. Great dance punk record. And to me, they lived up to the hype, really following it kind of like a liquid style, but doing it in their own way. Never would do much again after that to the same effect. They made a few records after, just not as good. That thing's a classic. I've talked about this band. Ex-members of Bedhead did The New Year Newness Ends, one of my all-time favorite records. This came out in 2001, so yeah, not quite 2000. I would count 2000. But Matt Cadane, Bubba Cadane, this is recorded by Steve Albini, Chicago. yeah, the slowcore thing, but they were just, I think of them as a dynamic, beautiful rock band. I love the Bedhead records too, but this is my favorite thing the Cadane brothers ever did. Newness Ends by the New Year, 2001, one of the greatest rock records to me. Here's one that's a little more recent. This is from, I think, 2021. Shame, Drunk Tank Pink. I always think Drunk Pink Tank, but Drunk Tank Pink. And this is a post-punk record. And it is just so fiery and so enthusiastic. The record before this I didn't quite get it. I didn't quite love it. The record after this, this is the one Shame record you need. This has got the songs. It's got the energy. The vocalist is great. This is on the Jaguar label. Oh no, Dead Oceans related. This is a stellar post-punk record. One of the best post-punk records in the last 10 years.
What you see is what you get. I still don't know the alphabet.
Classic, and I still think this holds up. Wolf Parade, Apologies to the Queen Mary from, is it 2004, 2005? This is my original, still in the shrink, and still has the little hype sticker there, if you want to call that a hype sticker, it is. I got this from my old employee ordering. I have a little cut in the barcode, but yeah, around when Arcade Fire was a thing. It's on the Sub Pop label. And I don't think the Arcade Fire record, I used to really love it. I don't think it holds up as well as this does. Spencer Krug, Dan Beckner, Canadian from Montreal. Great album. This is unique for Spencer Krug's vocals. He does like half the singing, and his sort of off-kilter, organ and piano playing with indie rock, of course. I still think it holds up really well. None of their other records not even close. This is the one to have. Apologies to the Queen Mary from 2005. I've been on the record many times saying Wilco's A Ghost Is Born is my favorite Wilco record. Yankee Hotel Foxtrot is number 2. This is the best Wilco record for me. From 2004. The one that was made when Jeff was suffering from severe abusing over-the-counter drugs and had to go into rehab right after they made this. This got delayed, the tour got delayed, and they came out with their new band with this record. They toured with the band that has been now a band for 20 years. Nels Cline. You have Pat Sansone, Nels Cline, and Michael Jorgensen join. And of course, Glenn Cochee, the drummer, and longtime bassist John Sturratt were part of the band. But with Nels Cline, Pat Sansone, Michael Jorgensen, you really made them band what they are today, and it's the same band they've had since then. But Ghost Is Born, a muted, really lonesome, but almost sort of like sterile, intense record with some amazing songs and some really experimental tracks, again recorded or at least produced by Jim O'Rourke. The Ghost Is Born box set, I don't show it, but it's over there. But excellent box set, really gets into the nitty gritty of how they made each song. Here's one some of you will certainly know if you were around and buying indie rock records in, what is this, 2003 or 4 again? The one-off record by the Unicorns, Who Will Cut Our Hair When We're Gone, on the Alien 8 label. This one got all kinds of hype, and I love the art design. This is like one of the very early repressings on brown vinyl. This is one of those records where like every song I'm like, this is my favorite song. No, this is my favorite song. This song's amazing. Like everyone is just good, and they're doing hooky kind of Deerhoof sort of spastic indie pop, but really great playing. Sounds great. The guitar playing is great. Unexpected shifts and turns and songwriting that happens on this, and there's definitely a dark quality to it. It's basically a record about dying, essentially, ready to die. It sort of just gets cut off, like they die before the song even finishes. A classic. I saw this band play in Brooklyn briefly. I got there late. It was in Williamsburg. I wish I had known they were going to be done after this. Islands would be one of the main bands that comes out of this, but yeah, I saw that show briefly. I only saw a few songs at some fucking space in Brooklyn. I can't remember, but a classic. Who Will Cut Our Hair When We're Gone? Unicorns. Avant indie pop is what I'll call it, and great songwriting. This Flaming Lips record really blew me away when it came out. Embryonic. This is the one that really put them into a place where they were eschewing the sort of like stadium ready sort of like psychedelic pop thing that I think wore out its welcome for me. But Embryonic saw them sort of go inside and go really pushing the experimental edge, and there's a definitely krautrock feel and flavor to this one. This is from 2009. Since then they've made a couple of interesting records that I do like, but mostly not so much. So I'm a very picky Flaming Lips fan. I used to have like all of the stuff. I still have like all the CDs, but I've sold a lot of the records. And kept some for sure. This is a keeper, maybe the best one. Embryonic from 2009. Really experimental and boundary pushing for them too. I love Deer Hunter. I think Deer Hunter does not get talked about enough. I think these records are staying fresh to me, and this is, I like a bunch around, I like 3 or 4 Deer Hunter records around this era, but this is probably my favorite, Microcastle. And this is the first version that came with the Weird Era continued as a CD. I guess it was, right? Let's just double check. This has got a poster in it. Yeah, this is the original white edition. White vinyl is my least favorite, by the way. It's got a few different posters in here, and I'm pretty sure it has... This was released as a bonus album. I think there's future versions that are double LPs with... Yeah, here it is. Yeah, see, this is unopened because I have... Why is this unopened? I think it's because I have a CD version with both on CD, so I listened to that CD with Microcastle and Weird Era, but this is just Weird Era. Anyway, but the proper record, Microcastle, psychedelic rock, but with that sort of edgy post-punk sort of... The unique thing about them, I think, Bradford Cox's voice and how he phrases and how he sort of puts an effect on his voice, so it's very sort of drenched in echo and reverb and dark quality to all these songs, and beautiful. I think this one really holds up so well. All right, I gotta finish this up. I have 15 records in total. Tame Impala from 2012, Lonerism. This band took a giant detour into a world I have no interest in, but their first record and their second, Lonerism, are psychedelic pop masterpieces. They're great. He recorded all these by himself, Kevin Parker, doing the drums, doing the bass, doing everything, doing all the synth work. And just really good, more insular, lonesome. This dude's depressed, but he's a pop star now. But yeah, you can see sort of what he was working with here. This record just does not get old to me. Lonerism from 2012. Yeah, great songs. And just a really cool production. It's got almost a lo-fi production, but it's got a big feeling to it at the same time. I saw this band on their first tour. They're from Australia. At, I think it was Webster Hall in New York. Their first tour to the US when they released Inner Speaker. It was awesome. The last Yola Tango record, The Stupid World, really pushing and creating a big record, an angry record, a sort of, but accepting that this world is stupid. Double LP on Matador, long-time label. Self-produced too, so that sort of adds a bit of an element of interest to this. From 2023, I've seen this band, one of the bands I've seen the most, probably over 10 times at least. Beautiful album. It's got a real big guitar sound to it. You know, drony sounds at times, but still retains the Yola Tango flavor. Like, such a consistent band. Parquet Courts. They've made a few other really good records. This is the one, Light Up Gold. This is the What's Your Rupture. There's like an early reissue. It was originally on their own label, Dull Tools. And a lot of irony and sort of like Pavement feel in the sort of like presentation, and they have that, but they're sort of a hard-charging indie, you know, pummeling kind of, you know, crowdy a little bit. Great songs. The first 2 songs are just a real punch in the neck. Master of My Craft and Borrowed Time. Great band. You know, they've kind of gone a more of a Talking Heads direction as of late. I still love this one, Light Up Gold from 2012. This is from 2007. The Shocking Pinks out of New Zealand. Project of, I can't quite remember his name. And he's made a few other records since, but this one is just a little bit like that Rapture record, a little bit like Liquid Liquid, kind of coming from that era, but from New Zealand. And very percussive upfront percussion and really shimmering guitar, and sort of like really stretches out. It's a real sort of patient record. And yeah, I love the way the drums are recorded on this record. And there's a lot of cool sort of bummed out little elements to the sort of driving quality that this record has. Shocking Pinks.
I gotta find a way to make it all make sense again.
A couple more. Unwound, Leaves Turd Inside You. I don't have a ranking to any of these. This would be up there towards the top. They released this in 2001. I don't have the original. I have this as part of the Unwound box set series, and then I got this when they saw them in 2023 in New York. The tour edition, a numbered tour edition. It's like a white version, numbered white version. It's all white. It's hard to see the embossed Unwound and Leaves Turd Inside You. But orchestral, this band used to be a sort of post-hardcore, but this has got an orchestral sort of moody but crunchy, sort of like a bit melancholic. I was supposed to see this band. I had tickets to see them in New York on September 12th, 2001. That show got canceled, and it was really something. They were in Boston on 9/11. I think they were in Boston on 9/11 or 9/10, and maybe they played Boston and they didn't have a show on 9/11. I forget. But they were supposed to be at the Bowery Ballroom September 12th, and it got canceled. Their whole tour diary from that time is really fascinating, because they recorded this, released it, and they announced they were doing a final tour. And this was a hell of a record to go out on. From Pacific Northwest, Unwound, Leaves Turd Inside You from 2001. And yes, Is This It? The Strokes. This is my European original with the New York City Cops. Speaking of 9/11, they took out that track here in the US because of 9/11. Even though the first US version does have that track on it with the other cover. But this is a great rock record. This thing was so overhyped at the time, and I never went to see him because I was like, you know what, these guys just think they're such hot shit. But then I listened to the album. I was like, it's a good album. It's good songs. These songs are really good. And they've never quite made anything as good, but I still stand by this. Is This It? From 2001 as just a great rock record. So that's what I'll say. I don't know if that was an offhand comment on Stunty's stream. This is how I see this. My last great rock record in the last 25 years. There'll be more. There'll definitely be more. I'm sure some people think this Geese record is a great rock record of that caliber. I don't, but maybe some people want to respond or do their own version. Hope you enjoyed that. Just getting back into the swing. So there's more to come, and take care.